I'm hungry in the kitchen and I'm feeling some healthy pancakes. So let's see if we can get creative with this. This is called a Dutch baby and it's got all your great breakfast ingredients. We've got sausage, cayenne, flour, maple syrup, milk, butter, eggs, salt and pepper, and kale to make it healthy. Don't worry, I'll put all the ingredients and the measurements in the description. But for the video, let's start breaking down the kale and get these stalks separated from these leaves. We're going to try to break this out here and just rip these stalks apart. We're using here a half bunch of kale. So you go to the store, get a bunch of kale, divide it in half. This is one portion. And what we're going to do to this kale is we're going to get some water boiling. I like to salt the water when I'm boiling something just to impart a little bit of extra seasoning to whatever it is that I'm going to put in that water. And we're going to do something called blanching. Blanching is just kind of a partial cook. It helps preserve the color of the green, in this instance the kale, and just tenderizes it a little bit, takes a little bit of the bitterness away, especially with that salt soaking in. So you're gonna have a nice seasoned blanched kale. We're gonna do this for 3 minutes. So a 3-minute blanch, really all you need for this recipe here for kale. All right, so we've got that blanched out. 3 minutes are up. We're gonna take this and we're gonna move it into some super cold water. It was like 30 degrees when I filmed this, so I didn't need any ice cubes. This is called shocking the kale, and this just stops the cooking process. And that thing I'm holding, by the way, is called a spider. So if you wanna hop on Amazon and buy whatever cooking stuff that I'm using, you can just look for spider, search for spider. That's what that is. That reminds me, I need to put Amazon links in my descriptions. Mental note. All right, now that we've blanched and shocked the kale, the next thing you want to do is drain out all of the moisture from the kale. The enemy of baking is moisture when you're adding ingredients that are vegetable based. As you can see, I'm taking out all of my aggression out on this kale. That's an anger shake right there. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but I'm not happy about it. We'll do that initial ring and then we'll finish it in a paper towel. Again, venting all of your emotions into that paper towel and getting all that moisture out. Now this is not exactly the best camera shot I've ever done, but let's take this green mass and cut it up into a rough chop. Now I'm just gonna cut it in one direction, reassemble it, rotate, cut it in the other direction to get a nice cross cut. Nothing fancy, doesn't have to be super minced or super fine, just a rough chop here is all you need. Now that we've got the kale out of the way, we're gonna brown some sausage. And I'm not using any fancy sausage, just some brown and serve. Get some butter in there, get it nice and frothy. And then we'll put in our links. And we'll use that butter to impart a little butter flavor into the sausage and use the sausage to put some sausage flavor into the butter because we're gonna need that for later. All right, this has done its job. Those sausages are browned and ready to serve, as described. And that butter's gotten nice and golden. A little bit of brown butter bits in there, a little bit of sausage grease in there. So let's get a plate, a dish that we can bake in. We're gonna transfer that butter in. This is called an au gratin dish. If you want to get one of these, they're great for single servings. If you want to do a single serving lasagna or something that you're going to bake in the oven, this is great for that. Au gratin potatoes, that type of thing. Any type of side dish. It's also good for presenting. So I took that hot butter, just kind of moving it around with a spatula, trying to cool it down a little bit. Butter cools kind of quick. So now we're just going to grease the pan or the dish with this butter. Try not to let anything go to waste. want to layer on as many flavors in this as I can. So if I'm using the butter, I can infuse it with the sausage, then take that sausage butter and let it be that greasing component. And now we're gonna make our batter. So we'll dump in some flour and just kind of get some of our ingredients mixed together, throwing in an egg. And we've got, let's see, I think it's a half teaspoon of some maple syrup. Then we got just a little bit of salt and some pepper and a pinch of cayenne. I want to get all that cayenne in there. I like mine have a little bit of heat into it. And we're going to whisk these ingredients together. When you're baking, or you see baking instructions, they may tell you mix your dry ingredients first, then add your wet ingredients. In that mindset, you would mix your milk and your egg and your maple syrup together separately, and then just mix your dry ingredients first. It really doesn't matter in the end result. It's just kind of a best practice. In this case, I went with the egg as a binder because I wanted everything to come together as a paste. And then I added just now my milk to start to form the actual liquid of the batter. It's all about your comfort level and how you like to do your mixing. At least when it comes to batters. We'll have a different conversation when I start baking. Okay, we've got that batter formed. I got rid of that whisk, and now I'm dumping in this kale, because if you whisk kale into a batter, you'll be picking kale out of that whisk for the rest of your life. So switch to a fork and just get that kale blended into your batter. I think I'm overthinking it at this point. That looks good. Now we've got our greased au gratin dish that we've used that sausage butter for. And now we're just gonna take that batter and we're gonna fill it in there. Now, like I said in the description, it's gonna have all of the ingredients here. This is, all the ingredients are for one serving. So just double it, triple it, whatever you wanna do to make this for more people. And if you wanted to put this in like maybe like a square baking dish, that would work too. So now I'm gonna add the sausage to this. Just put it right on top, nestle it in a little bit. And we are ready to bake. This is gonna go into a cold oven. And we're gonna set that at 500 degrees. So do not preheat your oven, leave it cold. Once we've got everything set up in the dish, we're gonna put this on something to catch any spillage. I'm using a sizzle plate here. You can use a cookie sheet. Cold oven, 500 degrees for 25 minutes, and you're gonna get this beauty. Now you could eat it right away, but I made a poached egg earlier, and I wanted to top that off with that. And there she is, perfect. Get a little seasoning on there, a little bit of extra salt for finishing on that egg, and just a hint of cayenne, if it'll come out of that container. There we go, for a little bit of color. And now let's dive in. Let's cut into this, see if we get a runny yolk. I'll be doing a whole egg video later on, so we can see how to make perfect poached eggs. Enjoy.